This is a very strategic vision that is an idea whose time has come. The Bible said in Malachi chapter 4, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the Lord, before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And he will turn the heart of the fathers to the sons, and the heart of the sons to the fathers, lest I smite the earth with a curse. So without this project, the end time move of God will fail. And without this project, there will be negative consequences, both on families, ministries, and even nations. God said, lest I smite the earth with a curse. So we need to have more people understanding the father-son order. And I will share a few thoughts with us that will help us in ministry to build beyond one generation. I have about 3 or 4 thoughts. Let me see how much our time will permit. Number 1, there are 3 pillars God uses to build his kingdom. 3. And I will use R1, R2 to represent them. The first pillar is revelation. That is truth, knowledge. The second pillar is relationship. God builds with team. He builds with relationships. He builds with partnerships. The third pillar, of course, is reproduction. God builds with genealogy. God builds with reproduction. God builds with generation. So when you talk about the first pillar, the R1, God builds with knowledge, with truth. That's why when Peter caught the revelation of who Jesus was, Jesus said to him, on this truth, on this revelation, rock, I will build my church. And then I think it was Jesus himself who said it in Matthew, in the book of Matthew chapter 7. Whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them is like a wise man that built his house on the rock. The word of God is truth, is the rock with which we build people. When people are built on teachings, on truth, on principles, on revelation knowledge, you have built them to last. The second pillar God uses when he is building, whether it's a ministry, a family, anything at all, is relationship. God doesn't build with one man. He builds with a team. He builds with a type of relationship called covenant relationship. If you have any church ministry where the people don't understand covenant, it is like a building where you assembled blocks and raised a building without cement, without mortar, holding one block to the other. That building will collapse on the people that are there. So in other words, commitment is needed where you want to build something that will last. Commitment. Covenant is about commitment, a type of relationship that is not casual. It's not just people walk in and walk out. You know, the way people do treat churches today. They walk in, tomorrow they just walk out. No. It's the same kind of commitment that is required in building a family. People become members of a family. They are committed to it. It's the same thing that is required in building a church, building a ministry, and building a strong movement. And of course, the third one, pillar, God uses to build his kingdom is genealogy, gene, reproduction. That third R is reproduction. God does not, God is a God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God does not want anything he starts to die with one generation. So when God starts something with a man, he expects that man to reproduce himself in others. So God builds, this third principle is what is called the father-son order. The father-son order. That God puts the capacity to reproduce yourself in every man, in every body, in every vision, in every organization. God's strategy is reproduction. And once these 3 principles are put into motion, you build something that can never die. You build something that will go from generation to generation.